Hey everybody, it's Saturday, April 3rd, 2021. Thank you so much for joining me in this broadcast today. Bulls and Bears, let's take a few minutes here to step back and just analyze this situation, this economy, this monetary system, and ultimately it's going to break the backs, I think, of most people. Now, we're seeing a K-shaped recovery right now with some people actually doing much better than they were before the big economic events that took place in 2020 and continue here in 2021. And we're going to focus today on the K-shaped recovery and how this is impacting so many millions of people. Corporate taxes, individual taxes, the wealth gap, the wealth divide that continues to get wider, and how the top 50% continue to leave the bottom 50% behind. And when you just look at the top 50%, then of course, as you get closer to the top, the wealth gains get even more extreme when you look at the 10%, the top 1%, and so forth. But let's start right here because there's been a lot of talk lately about how corporations need to, quote, pay their fair share. And there's talk about raising the corporate tax rate. It was reduced a few years ago to 21% for U.S. corporations. But here's the thing. Doesn't matter with all the loopholes and all of the tax professionals that these companies have to help them out. Find these loopholes and different ways to avoid taxes. 55 massive corporations like Nike paid zero federal tax in 2020, while CEO pay soared. Now, the CEO pay, that's been a frequent topic here on this channel, right? And that is part of this wealth gap, this wealth divide. This seems like a big scam. I mean, we're being told that raising the corporate tax rate is going to help pay for all this spending, right? All this new money that's printed out of thin air. It's not even printed, it's just digitized. And for most of you that didn't know, less than 10% of all money in existence is in physical form, coins and paper. It's bad enough that it's just worthless paper, but it's even worse than that. It's less than 10% is paper, money, or coins. This is part of the big scam. They want you to think that raising corporate taxes is going to help, quote, pay for the spending, right? Pay for the debt and the deficits. When in reality, even if the tax rate was 80%, let's just pick a number, 80%, 90%, even if it was, these companies are likely going to find enough loopholes to avoid the taxes anyways. Right, but here's the thing. I'd say 99% of the population, maybe 99.9%, have no idea that the money is created out of thin air. So now the people, the working class, are convinced that they're the ones that have to pay for all this spending. So of course, they're convinced of that. So now they want the corporations to have a higher tax rate, but it's not going to matter because guess what? The corporations, they can find loopholes. But you'll still have all these people out there yelling and screaming, that the corporations need to pay, when in the end, it's not going to matter. It's going to be you and me or the working class that's going to pay. Even 100% corporate taxes is not going to pay off the debt. Why? Because they issue the debt, then you have to pay it back with interest to the money printers. And unless you print more money, the money doesn't exist yet to pay it back. You see what I'm saying here? So it's not going to matter. Most people have no clue. So they're going to continue to go after the working class. More people giving up bigger and bigger portions of their paycheck until ultimately everyone is in poverty. Now, what's been happening here over the past year especially has been the K-shaped recovery. There are some people that are doing better than they were before the big economic events of 2020 that continue today. Let's take a look at some information here on second home purchases. And this is out of wolfstreet.com, a great website. You should check it out. Year-over-year change in mortgage rate locks for purchases by type. And if you see, scroll down here, recently purchases for second homes have soared. And guess what? It's not the bottom 50% of the population. These are the people that are the top 50%. Right? Just yet another indicator of the K-shaped recovery. Remember, most of the job losses were in the leisure and hospitality industries, and those are lower paying jobs. A lot of people in the bottom 50% work in those industries. Now, the people 50% and higher, they are doing, a lot of them, better than ever. They're purchasing second homes. Obviously, we see the chart right here. So on one hand, you've got the bottom half struggling. A lot of them can't pay their rents. Most of the people in the eviction moratoriums are the bottom 50%. On the other half, you've got the top 50%, a lot of the baby boomer generation, especially a lot of the older people, age 50 and up, that bought their homes back when home prices were reasonable. And now they're getting second homes, in some cases third homes. They're investing in rental properties, right? And think about this, the same stimulus check that per person, $1,400 as of the recent stimulus check, the person that's living paycheck to paycheck and has tons of debt is getting the same $1,400 stimulus check as the person with no debt with 2 investment properties making $120,000 a year. They get the same amount of money. So as you can see, this top-down run economy is very inefficient. That doesn't help the people that really need the help. It continues to further enrich the people at the top, and not just the top 10%, but even the top 50%. All right, so it's not just the mega rich that are doing better at this time, it's the top half of the population. Now, ultimately, even the top half of the population, as this continues to play out, this wealth transfer is going to continue to shift even in the top 50% up to the upper tier of the top 50%, the top 10%, then ultimately to the top 1%. Why? Because they are the monopoly men at the top. Right? That's why you hear the term the top-down economy. It's run top-down and it's centralized. Right? So you have these planners that sit there and they try to put out there what they think is best for billions of people, but what they think is best is usually just the best for the very people at the top that are rigging this economy. Right now, as you are listening to this, I hope you are doing well. I hope you are in the top 50%. I hope you have 2, 3, 4, 5 investment properties. I hope you're not having to work. You're just relaxing. But be very, very cautious because this could roll up to your doorstep faster than you might think. As soon as they pull the rug out from under this economy, these people holding multiple properties are going to be in big, big trouble. And are you going to be able to find any renters for these investment properties when the rug gets pulled out, when the bottom half are going to be doing even worse than they are now? So people are likely going to be going from the bottom 50%, going from making low wages to no wages, right? More people on the unemployment rolls. Okay, so at this time, do you want to be accumulating more investment properties when we know this whole scheme, this whole economy is propped up on paper promises and funny money? Now, the big corporations that own investment properties, they are doing just fine. Despite eviction ban complaints, big landlords report record profits. So even with millions of people not paying their rent, these big mega corporations, property investment firms, they made more money in 2020. They're doing great. Right? So for every person that's not paying the rent, if they have 100 other rental properties, they could just raise the rent on those people that are paying. So now the people that are paying are going to get punished more with larger rent increases to make up for the people that are not paying. Right? See what I'm saying here? So it's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse in this top-down economy. So the 10 plus million people that are behind on their rents or not paying their rents, while it may seem good to offer moratoriums and free rent for who knows how long, maybe forever, someone is going to pay for it. And the people that are still paying the rents, you're likely going to see your rents going up even faster. We know rents have been rising. We've been reporting on it here. Expect it to get worse. Continue to prepare. The top-down economy, K-shaped recovery. You guys let me know what you think. Surge in second homes for the top 50%. Big corporation property owners, landlords, making record profits. Let me know what you think, people. Stay well, stay safe, stay prepared. Bye for now. Peace.